Yes, welcome to the Helios Biblios Hour, the book of the sun, or the sunshine all day, every day, 24/7. Without the sun, there would be no black people. Oh, yes. We're going to talk today. This is Black History Month, the shortest month of the year, but 365 is the real time date. We're on the 208th day of the Helios Biblios calendar, created by my man Patal Seeker. We'll be getting at him in here hopefully shortly in the next few weeks to kick it on. I'm going to try to get up there to Beantown and check out some of the things before we do a show so I can get the vibes up there. But we're going to get the vibes right here in the great state of Florida, the only state who had an Indian insurrection, and the man won. His name was John Horse, the only state who fought back. The only state where I reside this morning in the great state of Florida. And we will be hitting the 31st parallel line. Because we know Atlanta, you on the 33rd. That's why so many freaky things going to happen to you in the next few years. Count on it. We're going to talk today because today is part 3. The whole month. It's really all year, but I just made this specifically to notate this particular month because of my man who died from writing that book, The Miseducation of the Negro, Carter G. Woodson. Said that our people will be deceived in this time, and it is absolutely a prophecy of facts. Let me give a shout out to everybody who participated. I mean, our lineup on the Dry Bones Connection Network is phenomenal. We are bringing in the top. We don't have Cynthia McKinnon. We don't have people come out of retirement. We don't have just about everybody, Motown greats. And guess what? We're the best kept hidden secret. We're the best kept hidden secret. That's all right with me. I love secrets. Whisper in your ear to ear, cheek to cheek. What you got to tell me? Well, this morning I'm about to tell you some serious shit. It's going to be something that I could never leave out if you're going to talk about American history, because American history is Black history. They know that. You just seem to shun it off. The whole country knows it. And today, we will bring on the part that they don't want you to know. The indigenous people part. The part that they gave you in the Masonic Dictionary of Webster. Danielle, E-L-L, Webster. I'm about to get real deep up in here today. Had a good time. I want to give a special shout out. See, I just don't talk this shit. I do this shit. See, I want to give a shout out to the teachers who invited us over there at Ponce de Leon Middle School to talk to their children. It was a wonderful event. I always do my thing, and the teachers, they request dry bones. And I thank the person who allowed that, because it takes a person to allow you to do that, who sees vision that the kids need something more, because you got to add to this new generation. It's called additives. That's why they call the millennials. You don't even know why they call it's a Masonic term to say the 1,000-year reign of Lucifer. And see, y'all don't want to believe Lucifer's a woman, so that's your damn problem. Ain't gonna worry about it. See, because one thing I know about facts matters. And just because your third eye can't see the facts, hey, ain't my problem. I'm going to continue to give out the facts. And the facts this morning is the most tragic history, the most shrouded, the most never talked about, the most made up of all makeups is to tell the people of North Turtle Island, America. We did a show on this. It's not like I'm talking off the top of my head. I did shows 4 years ago on Turtle Island. So we know it exists. Canada know it exists. But there's an indigenous population out here who is not getting it. Who's not getting it. Brother D, I see you calling. I don't know what's going on. I hope to see you in here, but let me make sure I'm being heard, because that's another problem. You got to check on Blog Talk. 5192. I mean, since you got your hand, can you hear me well?
I hear you good, brother. You good.
Thank Thank you, brother. Appreciate that, love. We all know there's been a catastrophic hit in the head by 3 climatic elements cause sudden death amnesia. And when you have sudden death amnesia, that means it's a powerful entity in effect. And so the only day you can make this work, you got to fight the power in your mind first. Because you can't fight the power physically. That's why the Masonic Bible told you no weapons form. Excuse me. No weapons form against who? Here's the question. Because obviously weapons can be formed against human beings. So if they can be formed against human beings, you better take into account who are they using to perform this illustrious war game tactic. Let's just be honest, everybody. We never ask certain questions because we're scared to find the answer. How the hell a small group of people come on a ship who had to have permission from the Moors to travel at that time? Am I right, everybody? Can we talk a little bit here? Let's talk real. See, you only in the West. That's already a trade of national goods going on in the East, the Far East, India, China, Africa. Can't leave all these are continents I'm talking about now. I ain't talking about their locations in their district locations, in their tribal locations. Just on land mass, it's already trade going on, big time. You got the trade already called the Silk Road being reincarnated to this very day to go through all of the countries of the East for the major trade that's going to take place. Well, that's what happened here. A small ship came, supposedly to sit among some Native Americans who Daniel Webster says that the Americans were copper-colored people that we have adopted. It's in their own dictionary. Y'all, this is old now. It's embarrassing that we're not taught like the kids that we taught, seeing that when we were telling them about this particular topic, they were in a maze. Because every time I asked the question to them, I said, when you hear the word slave, what nationality comes to your mind? Now, I'm talking to a predominantly Spanish group, a mix with a small group of African Americans, and it could be Bahamians, and it could be anything. I'm just using the anagram, African American. It's a magic word. It's a magic word. There's no such thing, African Americans. How you gonna fucking two company? You know, who has 2 continents as their names? Let's just be real here. So anyway, you know, they identified immediately to black people. Most of them. Except for some didn't really know what to say. But they end up saying black people. And even the black people, kids, children that was there said black people was the first word that identified slave. And you know that's a lie because the first word for slave is Slavic. And when I told them for the first time, I said, you know, if I was a teacher, I would have they have their phones out and be on Google and Wikipedia and certain other informational sites like Library of Congress stuff. And I would have them read that. By now, there will be instantaneous genius of historical. Them now, that's how you're going to beat the computer, AI. They need a feeding post, and that's the children. So you got to feed the machine. You didn't ever know. I know the movie taught you that. Didn't you see always they sacrificing kids through all times? And that's what the Native Americans don't want to tell you that they did too. Sacrifice. How the hell are you going to let some people come on a boat who had somebody that looked sort of like you and had a dialect that was universal at that time? It's called Latin. Latin. The type of Latin is taught from the Egyptian Coptic, which we did a show on showing you that ain't many people can speak that today. All them people talking that shit on YouTube, they ain't speaking no damn Latin. No, because they can't most people can't even get you out of jail, even though everything in the court documents is in Latin. They can't get you out of jail. Because you would be out of jail, wouldn't you? Same thing here. How do they get to let these small groups move in? They had weapons. We find arrowheads all through the mountains of Louisiana, all through the mountains of Kansas, all through the mountains of Oklahoma. They found all these artifact of giants as well. Y'all leaving giants out now because you know why? You don't want to deal with the facts. Facts show they found unbelievable relics throughout these caverns and caves and different things. And y'all heard about this. I know y'all do. But somehow somebody got okey-doked. And the old okey-doke came and took out a large group of our people who claim somehow they fell under the gun of European power. But European ain't had no power at that time. Only people who had power at that time was the Moors, which would include all of northern Africa and parts of the Saudi kingdoms, along with some of the Spain and Portugal, Asia. All this is the people who ruling in that area. So to get permission to even come out of the rocks of Gibraltar, the Tubal kings of the world, you have to let bounty and booty be paid. You can't just come out through the damn straits and just take over. That's why pirates, which are still the most powerful entity today, we did a program on that some back. We're under pirate rule. Everything's under pirate rule. Pirating of all aspects is being done. Well, they came over here with some pirates. See, they got you believing they came over here. They came with some pirate renegades, with magicians of the Orient who knew all along there was other people just like them, because the Native Americans had nice, beautiful civilizations. Everybody knows this. And they didn't have no problem of giving up their women, who were the rulers of the land grants. Can't get no land without the woman's permission. So today we're going to get deep with part 3, Uncut. But I brought somebody special to the game today. I brought Chief Warhorse. One of the few people that can actually say their tribe is nationally recognized. The Chafunkta Nation of Shatta, located in that parallel line of Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida. We're going to kick it hard this morning. She's going to come on and tell you. Now, I brought her on because she's been on before. She's a friend to the program. That's how we work it. They stay connected. That's why it's called Dry Bones Connection. Me and her have talked briefly on some things that have been going on, but we had a lull in our activity because she's been so busy and I've been doing my thing. And I know people do things. They're in different states. Remember, we connected to different states. Ain't just right in our neighborhood. We talk to people all over the 10 regions. That's why it's called Dry Bones Connection. So today we connecting with Louisiana. Good old Louisiana. And my sister's going to come on. She got so much to talk about today because she called me. And when she talks. And she talks with authority. And she talks with knowing what's going on. And there's been some things happening that we have been ignoring about our history. Like how the hell did no one mention that most of the navigational people on any of the ships had to have Moroccan permission? I mean, come on. And they brown, dark, black, mulatto-ish. Well, this is what it's all about today. We're going to talk about this because her nations, including the descendants of the families of Choctaw, the Cherokee, the Creek ancestry. And see, in the 1800s, well, we're going to get deep today, they started sending them all to Oklahoma with the Trail of Tears. A lot of the Indians went to the school I told you about. His name was Lieutenant Richard Henry Pratt. I'll look him up. He's the founder of the Carlisle's Indian School. In 1879, they created these schools to re-educate. And it sounds like a slave story to me. I mean, the whole regiment should have been read in this because he is the progenitor of the schooling of turning you into Europeans. His name is Lieutenant Richard Henry Pratt. But this is the problem I had with. See, the Indians got different looks. Now, let's be honest with it. The Indigenous got different looks. They do have an Asiatic, sometimes an Indian from India look mixed in with the dark skin, the straight hair. Then you got the nappy hair. So you got a genre of different DNAs in this country here already. Ain't no Pacific. Some look like on the West Coast like the Hawaiians. Because we using color because that's the game they play in America's color. But the game the world play is tribal. They don't care about color because they know if you could be damn near albino if you with our tribe, guess what? We might eat your ass, but guess what? You with us. That's how this works. See, but America, special identity color. And they knew the game of color because they came out of color. They came out of color. The whole European experience is okay. I was taken out, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I got a big zap. I heard something go zzz, and all I know is we went out. If I'm able to be heard, let me do a quick test. 8444. Can you hear me? 8554. Okay, I gotta be brought back in. Good. I'm gonna keep you in the loop, so stay with me just in case you might take over. So hold on with me. I left off with the Buffalo Soldiers. We are back. Left off with the Buffalo Soldiers. Chief Warhorse, I'll be bringing you in shortly. We can't leave this out, everybody. We cannot leave out the fact that in order for them to actually win this particular war, they had to have help. They had to have help. So this morning, we're going to start this program off before we bring Chief Warhorse on. Everybody has always asked the question, who helped Andrew Jackson? Who helped him? How did he get them to travel through the Trail of Tears? How could that happen? What army? Well, they decided they was going to let an army in. They was going to call it a peacetime army. They was known as the 10th United States Cavalry. And they are considered the original Buffalo Soldier. Now, their details is phenomenal. We put it on Facebook. Over 72 Indian war combats. They have had many wars with the Apache. They're the ones that went after Geronimo. They went to Mexico and held the border, the one you don't want today. Guess who guarded it first? The Buffalo Soldier. The border that Mexico that y'all don't want the wall for, it is secretly connected to the Buffalo Soldiers. Boy, you can't get us out of no history, can you? But today, you're going to get, before we bring Chief on, this is the group that went in and made the West what it is today. All your cowboy movies, all your bonanzas, all your wagon trains, all the shows you love, Gunsmoke, could only happen with these brothers right here. Before we leave out, are this good or is this bad? Listen carefully.
After the Civil War, the United States faced the need for a larger peacetime military to occupy the South and protect settlers on the western frontier. In the summer of 1866, July 28th to be exact, the United States Congress passed legislation establishing a peacetime military. Before the legislation was passed, a hotly debated issue concerned the inclusion of African Americans in the regular army. Some politicians made the then radical suggestion that the Army fully integrate African Americans into its ranks. Other politicians wanted the Army to remain white only. They eventually agreed to maintain the status quo and continue placing African American recruits in segregated units. A provision of the 1866 legislation created 6 regiments of African American troops, 4 infantry and 2 cavalry of approximately 1,000 men each. In August 1866, the 9th and 10th Cavalries were organized. The 9th Cavalry was in Greenville, Louisiana, with most of the original recruits from nearby New Orleans, Louisiana, and Louisville, Kentucky. The 10th Cavalry was at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. Many of the recruits in both units were freed slaves from the North. The assigned mission of these African American troops was to escort the Native Americans from their indigenous homelands to designated reservations.
Escort service, huh?
The nickname Buffalo Soldier was bestowed on the troops by the Native Americans as a testament to their valor in battle. The buffalo was a sacred animal to the Native Americans, and they would not bestow its name on the soldiers unless they were worthy adversaries, fighting ferociously to the end, and living up to their motto, "We can, we will, and ready and forward."
What? Did you hear
The
that?
proud acceptance of the name Buffalo Soldier by the African American soldiers was a badge of honor and pride for the troops. The Buffalo Soldiers were sent to the Great Plains along the Rio Grande, New Mexico, Texas, Arizona, Colorado, and into the Dakotas. The duties of the 9th and 10th U.S. Cavalries included guarding the mail, escorting and guarding stagecoaches, cattle drives, railroad crews, and surveyors. They built roads and telegraph lines. They mapped and explored, including mapping vast territories in Arizona and New Mexico, even marking watering holes. They played a major part in building the West and making it safe for the westward expansion. In July 1885, the 10th Cavalry moved west into Arizona. After arriving, troops of the regiment were dispersed throughout the area to cover as much territory as possible. These troops were stationed at Whipple Barracks, Fort Grant, Fort Thomas, and Fort Apache. In 1913, the 10th Cavalry Buffalo Soldiers were sent to Fort Huachuca and remained there for almost 20 years. They joined General John J. Pershing in the 1916 expedition into Mexico, and during the World War I, they were assigned the mission of guarding the United States-Mexican border. Second Lieutenant Henry Ocean Flipper, a member of the 10th Cavalry, was the first African American graduate of the U.S. Military Academy, West Point, class of 1877. Lieutenant Flipper excelled in engineering, law, French, and Spanish. After dismissal from the Army, Henry Ocean Flipper went on to obtain recognition and respect as a surveyor, and in 1890 he opened his own civil mining engineering office in Nogales, Arizona. Joseph S. Flipper II, the grandnephew of Henry Ocean Flipper, has lived in Phoenix since 1945. He has had a long and distinguished teaching career and is an active member of the Greater Southern Arizona Area Chapter of the 9th and 10th.
Now, I'm going to leave it there. Y'all can go look up the rest of the history, but I just want to hit on some key points before I get Chief Warhorse on the air. Escorted, key word. So I'm hearing too much noise. Somebody got noise out there. Okay, that's you. Key things. So when we bring our sister on here, they escorted them through the Trail of Terror. That's one of the things mentioned in Chief Warhorse's biography of the people that they didn't want to go. They said they would not leave during the forced relocation under Andrew Jackson. Now, who did Andrew Jackson bring to do that? Isn't that strange? Black folks. Powerful ones, too. Did you just hear that? 6 regiments of black people with weapons that could easily have turned them on the... I'm not even going to go today. Stay calm and cool today. Ain't that strange, people? That's 6,000 people with weapons. And got the power of surveillance. Somebody got to talk to me about our history. See, I know y'all on Facebook don't really know your history. Facebook is the easiest thing to bullshit people on. Just by what I see. See, they surveillance too. They know y'all don't know shit. You think they y'all... Please. Please. They on Facebook laughing their ass off. They saying, thank you. Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, Zuckerberg. Thank you for giving our people the opportunity to see themselves even more. That's why this history is so important. So important. And that's why this morning we had to bring the facts on. This is really one of the only recognized tribes. One of the only recognized that looked like me. The rest of them went to Lieutenant Pratt's schools in Pennsylvania, so forth, where they said, listen to what he said. He didn't want to kill the Indian. He said, kill the Indian, save the man, was a reference for the re-educational project for Native Indigenous Americans. That means kill his culture, kill who he is. To save him, we will reintroduce him to our program. But the program was reintroduced by black faces just like today. Socialism is going to be reintroduced with black faces. Y'all might not get that. See, I'm putting it together for you. That's why it's called Dry Bones Connection. See, you use black faces, and you might rule the world. That's why the black face was a Masonic game for you guys. They showed you we're going to use the face of the original to deceive the world. So y'all ready for this? Let's just do one quick commercial while we make sure everything's in order, because, you know, we on Blog Suck Radio, and luckily they did respond to us saying that they would be on top of things. Luckily, the show did not end. I don't know where a zap comes from. I'm making that clear to them because I know they're listening. We pay for this. This is a paid service. This ain't free. We do this for the love of the people, but we want to have professionalism. So we should have what we pay for. And that's something we're going to deal with. We're going to go to the commercial break. Looking for Chief Warhorse in a second. Get ready for the Warhorse will be on.
Welcome to the OYE Dry Bones Radio Talk Show, the show that brings an esoteric, allegoric view of past, present, and future events in history. Like most other talk programs, we do focus on the hot topics of the day, with particular focus on the current politics and the economy. This is our 5th anniversary, so we are trying to make big things happen for our show and humbly ask for a donation. Please go to www.drybonesconnection.news and hit the donate button. Thanks for listening to the radio show who brings fruits of knowledge regarding our history and the talk where facts matter. Your donation is greatly appreciated. Join us on air Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and Wednesday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. by calling 515-605-9343. To listen to our archive of previous shows, go to www.drybonesconnection.news.
Okay, hit the number 1 button. You should be able to be seen. Okay. Thank y'all for that commercial break. Like we said, we need y'all help. We're looking for Chief Warhorse. She'll be on shortly. As soon as she hit that number 1 button, we'll be waiting for her. She says she's on the line here. We're waiting on her now shortly to come on. And again, I'm asking y'all to listen carefully to this. Because, see, we need your input on what's going on. Do y'all believe this history that we have? Does it make sense to you? Just because people go around and give lectures, does it make sense to you? That's the question we want to ask. If it makes sense to you. I'm looking for Chief Warhorse. It might be you right there, sister. Maybe your number went to 111 because, hold on. We're looking for the Chief right now. Let me see if this Chief. Chief, is you right here?
Yeah, this is me over here.
Okay, beautiful. You playing tag with these phones. That ain't the phone number I got now that I got for you. That's
no, I had to switch. I got cut off the phone, so I switched over.
Oh, you had to switch over. See? Now, you know how Blog Talk works, so we ain't even going to go into how they act. So we're going to keep this thing moving. I hope you was able to hear some of the program before we got cut off. But, yes, you see it's a big story going on. You one of the few who have had a national recognition. Me and you've been in contact, and you've been having a lot of things happening. So I'd like to have you tell the people what's been going on, because you're not a stranger to our program. You're one of our sisters. So how you been doing, first of all?
Well, under normal circumstances, I'm doing fine and blessed. On other circumstances, I'm doing what always the Indians have to do, fight to stay ahead of the enemy.
That's
okay,
right.
So when you add it all up, let's just say it's all worked out for the best. It's an honor to be here today. this is my birthday month. Plus, this is Black History Month. And being a Black Indian, I guess we have to share this month. But it's the shortest month in the year, so we have to put a lot in a short period of time.
I like how you put that.
I was listening at the show, and I heard with the Buffalo Soldiers, which a lot of our people idolize what the Buffalo Soldiers mean, and they think it means something to people of color. When I see the Buffalo Soldiers, I see an army that was put together to battle Black Indians that look like me. So I can't contribute an honor to them, because if it was not for the Buffalo Soldiers, Indians wouldn't have been driven off their land in southeast United States, especially down here. I heard in the show when we were talking about the regiments that was here in Louisiana. There's 2 forts. They still have the area where those 2 forts is. And maybe, Dry-Bone, we can do something where you can come down and see those 2 forts.
I would love to. Let's make it happen.
Soldiers actually was. Because it's not that far from where I'm at. Okay? It's in a way back in those days, is a horse ride or a walk away from us. Okay?
Okay.
I've had students come from around the country, and I've taken them down, even from Bolivia, to see these 2 forts. I brought them in. And they were like, why is this left out the history book? Well, it's really not left out the history book. You just got to know what book is in. Okay?
That's right. That's right.
Get the right book. If you get the right book, you'll get the right story.
That's
now,
right.
you know, Dry-Bone, you know, I go way back, and I'm into saying, go get your book. And normally I'm going to tell a person what book to go get so they can find the facts. See, white America had libraries in their homes, and they would get books printed just for these elite white folks. And they had private libraries. That's why they had the private library, because the truth was always put in the Europeans' private library, not the public library, not the public school. In the university they put together, the Ivy League. The Ivy League got the books that told the truth, okay? That was why these guys went to these Ivy League schools that ran for president, because they was taught the truth. So there's 2 standards of education. One standard of education is for you to labor, and the other standard of education is for you to lead, okay? Now, if you get into the books of labor, you're not going to find the truth. But if you happen to get into the book of lead, now you'll find out the truth. They always knew that the Indians, or the indigenous people of this continent, was black, okay? And they also knew they was very strong, very smart, and there wasn't some people running through the woods throwing no darts. These people were into industries. My grandparents and them had boats, which they called schooners. They were trading with other islands and sailing, okay? So to dumb things down in their book, yes, they were right, like you just run around here with little canoes, fishing and hunting. But they didn't tell you about the industry. They didn't tell you about the thousands of years that our people survived.
The trade that was going on.
Right now, when you look into Egypt, there are things that was found in Egypt in the tombs and the pyramids, that the only place these things could have been received is from over here, okay?
That's right.
So, and we're not talking 300 years ago, 400, 500 years ago. We're talking about things they found in the pyramid that date back thousands of years. So there's always been some kind of trade with this continent and that continent, okay? Now, I want to touch up on something real quick. We also talk about soldiers, but we also got to look at the people call themselves Amor, the people of Morocco. You know, everything don't come in the form of a buffalo soldier. They brought in people from other countries, black, brought them in to infiltrate and perpetrate, okay? And they brought the Moors in under the Sundry Act. They could kill, they could steal, they could rob, they could rape, they could punch, and never have to answer to the law. So they came in as really certified gangsters and mobsters, okay? So that's another level of where the blacks invaded. See, I'm glad this Black History Month, that's why I like this show.
That's
because
right.
You're going to tell the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's no need to make it look like black been the only victim, because black have victimized people too.
That's right. That's the truth. That's just the facts. It's just the facts.
Right. And we want to just keep hollering this white people. We talking about white people because that is a trick to keep the white and black enemies and battling on a racial battle when we need to be looking at another battle much deeper, greed. Greed has no color, okay? So then you bring in the Moors. You bring in the Portuguese. They were dark, curly hair. Infiltrate, perpetrate. Okay? You got the Masons and Shriners. Infiltrate, perpetrate. And then they recruit people out your family. And then all of us have these Masons and Shriners and stuff in our family. Okay? They make them think that they're in a secret society doing something special. What they're doing special is keeping an eye on us. Okay? Now, I have family members that's in the Mason and Shriner. But this is what I want to show you, like right now. I haven't been doing any shows, and I told you, driver, I said, look, I'm not doing those shows because somebody using whatever I say, and they're using it against the people. So I shut up for a while, and I prayed for a while, and I watched a lot. Let me tell you guys this out there. The Buffalo Soldiers is back. The Moors are back. The Shriners and Masons are back. And you know, some of them saying one thing, but look at them. Look at their moves. See what they're trying to do. Let me tell you how they come in the form this time. This time they're in the form of desperation. This time they're in the form of coming into your community or your tribe. There's like a lot of black folks now are organizing them a tribe, and they need to talk to me about that because they're opening themselves up for destruction. They don't know what we've been through as a black tribe to just jump out there and make yourself a target, okay? It looks like it's good. Now the movement is, you got one set pushing, give up your birth certificate, give up your Social Security card, denounce your citizenship. Okay. That's because people have natural citizenship under the Naturalization Act, okay? You can't be forced to give up your citizenship. But if you voluntarily give it up, then that's another story. Now, when you give up your citizenship, where do you go? You're not in this country, and you're not accepted in another country. So now you become illegal resident.
Yes, sir. At sea. You at sea. Go ahead.
Am I right?
Just go ahead. Talk. Go ahead, sister.
So the trickery is they're pumping them up on the internet to somebody getting rid of their only paper they have to prove that they have naturalization. And with people being greedy for $1, one way or the other, they're telling them, and you're going to get $1 million. Or they tell them stuff like, you don't have to pay tax, or you can get a house without paying for it. That is stupid. The white folks do pay for houses. The Indians on reservation is having it hard. And how is these black folks who have lived as black, colored, Negro, African American is going to jump out there, and because you get rid of your birth certificate, now you're going to be wealthy? Think, America. Think. Why are you ashamed to be an American? This is our country. The Americas belong to the indigenous people. The people who came here, they're the ones, not the Americans. So why would you separate from that? Next move, they got a movement going through telling people don't believe in God. I read a thing on Facebook last night. There's no God, no devil, no angel, no hell, no heaven. Well, when you take away the cornerstone of the black community, the building can fall easily. And only thing black people have had to bring them through all of this have been their spirituality. So if I can eliminate your spirituality, I can easily destroy.
That's right. Go ahead, sister. Talk. We have a church up here, the real church.
So the real movement is to destroy your spirituality. Because they done found out what keep us going is our connection, spirituality, to God. Now I see black folks saying we're going to worship God the way the Indians did. Now I'm just saying it the way they're saying it. And they're up there talking about praying to the stars and the moons and the sun. That's not what they were doing. We honor the sun. We honor the stars. We honor the moon. The moon is that which helps your food to grow, and the sun and the rain. You're not worshiping those things. You honor that, not worship.
Right. It's a difference. Right. You honor it. Right. I got you.
So there's a difference in honoring and worshiping. Okay? But we got people so confused, and I'm looking on the internet. young people grew up in spiritual families. Now it's like there is no God. This is, this is to break your cornerstone. Your spirituality is all you ever had. Spirituality is all the Indians had. It's all the slaves had through slavery. This is what have brought us thus far. But if the enemy can break that from you, now they got you. Because spirituality is the only thing that brings us together. Okay? So with all the lies been taught.
So spirituality is universal, would be said to be, spirituality would be universal.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's something within you. It's not something somebody can destroy unless you let them into your subconscious mind and destroy. And how you get into a person's subconscious mind is repetitiously showing them things with their eyes that go into their mind that they begin to meditate on and believe, and before you know it, it's into their subconscious mind.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, that's just right on 101. Go ahead, sister. That's 101 right
So right now, they're using the internet and subconsciously training our people to become radical. And they don't know who they're radical against. They're just becoming radical. And at the same time, they're putting laws in place. Okay?
Right.
One law is the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act was signed and put in place when President Obama was in. Under Trump the other day, he just did a declaration. When you look at the Patriot Act and the declaration, you got a movement out there telling people to decolonize the United States. Okay, decolonize the United States, meaning you trying to go up against the United States radically. Okay? So, under the Patriot Act, you don't even have to have a trial. You start doing this, they can just start picking you up, putting you in some kind of jail.
Right. Now, hold on. Stay with me there. Now, that's under the Patriot Act, which happened under 9/11. Okay, it was instantly placed in, already there. It's like it was prepared. Boom. We had the 9/11 event. Boom. This Patriot Act was right there at the table next day. Takes away all kind of power from a lot of the people. So you're saying, let's make this clear to people, sister, because you Chief Warhorse. They can declare war on the citizen. Because
yes, they can. If the citizen, if the citizen is rising up against the country, yes.
Right.
It's called Homeland Terrorist.
Right, Homeland Terrorist Act. I got you. I'm following you now. I just want you to follow. We getting everybody else to follow today. So the terrorist will be the homeland, and the homeland will be the of the people being turned into radical beings against their country. Would that be the
That's
state?
correct.
That would be the. Okay, there we go. Let's keep it going. Sister. We talking hot today on the Helios with Sister Warhorse. Get involved. 626-414-3504. Y'all better get in this. Seriously. And 515-605-9343. We about to get serious. Keep going, sister.
Yeah, many different movements. Okay?
Right.
Many movements going on throughout the black community.
There you go.
And with all these different movements, no one has sit down logically and communicate. You got internet Indian tribes, okay? Haven't sit down and met with the government. Don't want to meet with the government. I'm listening to what they're saying. They don't want to meet with nobody. With the government, well, how are they going to survive in this country if they're telling people to leave everything, denounce your citizenship? What do you have? They're building a wall to keep some people out of here, and we got some people that want to be kicked out. You got a movement to go back to Ghana. Okay, when you get out of here and go to Ghana, what if you weren't from Ghana? It ain't gonna be no, I want to go back to the United States. Somebody got them playing this game. I've been hearing them say the little slogan, drive on chess, not checkers. I'm saying they playing checkers on a chessboard. Okay? The black folks just jumping from one thing to the other. They Washita, they this, they that. That's checkers. The white man set this board up for chess. Sometimes you got to take 2 to 10 years.
Yeah. Somebody, you got to let a pawn go. You got to sacrifice some peoples. That's how chess is played. Go ahead, sister.
So all these checkers, because they've been exposed to a little knowledge. But because you've been exposed to the knowledge, have you mastered the move? Because right now you're playing with master players. Okay? So don't think that you sit there on your computer and you found some information that's factual, that you're going to go to the United States, file these lawsuits in mass numbers like a lot of them doing. Because actually what you're doing is giving the country a list of people where they know to start picking up.
Sister, let me hold on. Let me just interject so we can get some people some knowledge. Now, you was recognized by the United States. Go on her page. They under this thing about a census to give credence to the amount of people that was in the defunct nation. Let me ask you this, because we see a lot of Indians now with the so-called Indian, with the white Make America, the young students with the hat Make America Great Again. Then we got the Hebrew Israelites there, and yet the Native American is looked upon as that look right there. That's the look that we have been permeated with through, very prestigious propaganda that this is the Native American look. How come that's never challenged amongst the tribes? That, why should they have this one look for the Native Americans, which makes everybody think they look pretty much Asiatic?
Okay, the infiltrator-perpetrator job, as I was fighting to bring the black Indian to a better awareness, someone got out and decided to just start organizing tons of black tribes that doesn't have no status to it, okay? So that kind of like throws in some doubt on the blacks who say, I'm an Indian now. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You didn't organize so many tribes and nations that does not line up with history, okay? See, why is the black people organizing tribes and nations? Because you got land patents, that doesn't make you a tribe nor a nation. I don't want to have federal recognition. I have not put in for federal recognition. Okay. Mm-hmm. The reason why I'm not.
Well, make it clear. Make it clear that what happened, because you did have a lot of during the early days of you making this movement aware. You had a lot of Washington delegates coming to Louisiana.
I have communications federally with the government agencies and state agencies. Okay, that's different than federal recognition. I'm not under the BIA. Okay, the BIA used to be under the War Department. Okay, prisoners of war. So when you under the BIA, you actually underneath the government controlling your land, your money, and everything. Okay. My grandfather didn't go to Oklahoma because he wasn't for that. So we stayed here with dual citizenship. I have citizenship in my nation and citizenship in the United States. Okay? I have dual citizenship.
Right.
That was a part of the treaty. They promised us that with the treaty, that we could have dual citizenship. I see a movement where they're telling people once you get a tribe, you can denounce your citizenship in the United States. I'm not doing that. I don't recommend nobody do that. Okay?
Right.
Now, yes, I've had White House roundtables. Yes, I've had letters where President Obama has recognized me as the Honorable Queen Chief Warhorse. In communication, I deal with Homeland Security in our area. All of that. I deal with my state government. I'm working with, and whenever something is
because you're a
favor.
Because now hold on, I can't hear you kind of good. I don't know if you're going in and out for me only, but I hope if you wherever you're at on the phone, just try to stay close to it, because that is important what you're saying, because that game has been played on a lot of people about giving this up, signing some papers, doing all this thing. I was involved with a lot of people doing that as well, and I thought it was. I was hanging. I'm gonna tell you this, Chief. Me and you talk. I was always told, go see what your enemy talking about if it's your enemy. At least hear what they saying. So I used to go to the Patriots Tea Party meetings, and I noticed that they had certain. They wouldn't sound like racist, like people say. They sounded like they was against the government of denouncing their citizens. So the Native Americans got a special gift because right now it looks like with the casinos. Now I heard the Native Americans are now may get into the marijuana because that is the actual cash crop of America. All the presidents, Washington didn't have cotton; they had hemp. Hemp was the number one thing grown in this region. Obviously, they know that through Mexico. What's your take on the Indian nation now about to get richer, except the black Native Americans seem not to get involved with that. I don't know if you know more about that or not. You can give us some more information because they're going to be super rich. Some of these tribal chiefs in certain regions once this thing comes down the pipe.
Also got to look at this. The casino didn't make the reservation super rich. Believe me, the casino made
certain people. They made certain chiefs rich.
And certain chiefs, I like how you say that. Certain chiefs get rich. They people still don't have much or nothing.
Right.
It makes these same mafia people rich that got rich off the alcohol by legalizing it. So legalizing this is going to make the same white people rich. The bottom line is behind the monopoly game or behind the chessboard, there is white folks that built the board to play in their favor. I'm a USDA farmer. I'm a USDA farmer. I don't want to farm hemp, okay? But I do know George Washington and all of them, they were major farmers of hemp and making ropes. Ropes was one of the major products.
And cells. You can't sell a ship. For them at that time, you needed hemp to grow the cells. That's clothing. Isn't that an industry? Is it clothing?
If you look back in the history on their book, our former presidents and congressmen used to sit in Washington and smoke marijuana while they were making the laws. Okay.
So, but what that got to do with using it to grow food? We need that stuff today. That's jobs.
Okay.
That's jobs.
I understand that. But you also heard they're going to have numbers like a lottery that they give to people to be able to who's going to do it and who's not going to do it.
Well, that's the point I'm talking about. So the Indians are not organized. So let's just be honest. The Native American indigenous population is not organized agriculturally to do this. Because okay, let's keep it going.
There's racism in Indian country, okay? There's racism and division in Indian country. And most Indian tribes, the people is not the ones that's talking. It's people who are working for those tribes is who are sitting at the table talking. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's
true.
Is so,
yes.
Divided till the power of it is going to be, actually they're going to pass it there, but it's going to be taken advantage of somewhere else. Watch what I'm telling you. Just watch.
Okay.
That's just a way to pass it.
I'm going to let people come in. They got to ask you some questions because you got the lines hot. Let me tell you, sister. And now you've been on some very hot shows. You've been on the young brother. What's his name? The young brother. He was on there with the omelet head. You were saying some of the things he said was true. And forgive me for not writing his name. Dean. His name was Dean something. Out there. He has a very good website. That's what I sent you on last. He was saying about the omelets and different cultures having, even the pre-Columbian.
Okay, I saw some stuff he posted. I don't know him personally, but I just saw some stuff he posted.
Right. Well, I said Dane and Calloway, Dane Calloway, and I seen that it was you did something recently saying that saying what he was saying was actually factual, which I like. That we need that today to have validation to some of what we're talking about, because so many people are bombarded with what you're saying, but the internet, which has a lot of falsehoods, they don't have a factual background of a person that can actually say, identify that for real. And that's what's happening today. We have so much.
When I see Dan Calloway post something that's factual, I will go ahead and tell him, okay, that's factual. Because I've been told by a lot of people they don't know what's false and what's real, and he does do a lot of research. Okay,
right.
And I'm sure he don't agree with everything. I'm sure he don't agree with everything I say, and I don't agree with everything he says. But he has more facts going out there than a lot of people.
Right. And again, you've been around a lot. Me and you met through Dr. David Himmeltech. I give shout outs to him. For he connected me to you, which we connected from our own. So that's like a connection. We all heard this concept. Now let's just say we know black people here already. We want to know they're here. We got that. They're here. But you got a movement of people saying that we have black presidents. So if we had a black president, I mean, give me your thesis and thoughts on having a black president while all this is going on. Isn't he complicity with it? If it's all still going on, I mean, we hearing John Hanson was the president. We got the Buffalo Soldiers worshipped by our people, not even knowing that they was in 72 killing battles with Native Americans. I mean, fierce killing battles. I mean, are we deceived that we want to just glorify all blackness regardless of it's bad or good? As long as they black, we did it. We got.
I think that's wrong. I
yeah,
think that's wrong.
We got a lot of that. We got hidden colors. We got. Well, let's talk. Me and you gonna talk. Because we declaring war amongst the minds today. We got hidden colors, only showing good stuff. Good stuff only. Now, when you show only good stuff, you give them one side of a story. You're not saying that I participated in you getting in this condition. Ain't no showing no participation part. Tell me what you think about that, because it shows the Native Americans in a light where we got no understanding. Okay, the women had land rights. Is that correct or not? We're hearing that women own the land in the indigenous territories here. Is that something we can identify with?
Land moved from woman to woman. It was a maternal nation. It was matriarch. Okay.
Now let me ask you. I want you to ask. I'm asking this because you my teacher today, and I want you to teach these students out here. Now, if we had women, that means they went to the council, had to go to the women to make a decision.
That's right.
On letting these people come in.
They had to go to the women, even if they wanted to go. They had to go to the mother, who was the queen. They had to go to her, even if they wanted to go to battle. Okay.
Okay. Right. Now hold on, because I want you to. We trying to educate people now, because there's always been some false clear. If the white using black, Moorish, Moroccan Africans who gave permission, because they could not travel the 7 seas without the power of permission back in them days. They had to pay a bounty, a booty. So if they knew and came over here with these maps that they had from the ancient days that this land existed, they knew it existed. So it really shouldn't be no Africa because the whole world knew. The whole world was even called Africa at that time. We made up another name to have a battle about, because most of us now say it's Africans that discovered America. Well, were they called Africans, or was this some name we've been given by the Afrocentrics? What's your take on that?
Okay, Dr. Motep is a very good friend of mine, and I met him through both of us speaking. We both were speakers in Georgia one year, and I had read his book, but I had never met him. And just so happened, he and I was on a program together. And I explained this to him this way, and I'm explaining it to the public. I said, did you mean black people, or who a white man called black people, or Negro-looking people, not African people on this continent? I say, I agree with your book. I disagree with your title. And he's a very good friend of mine. And
both. Mm-hmm.
I spent years with him till he says, you know what, Chief? You are right. That is a word given to us. But the word Africa is no different than calling this, let me find something fancy. Christopher Columbus. Yeah. Right. You know, it's the discoverer's name. Now, we're going to have to go back to the Catholic Church. For you to sail the 7 seas, you have to go through the Pope and get approval through the Catholic Church to be a conqueror or discoverer.
Right.
When you discover it, you have to register it back with the Pope. Okay? Now, right now, people say, what you feel about the church? I know the Catholic Church played a major role in the destruction of my people in this country. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I also know that the Catholic Church have not fixed nor removed that doctrine of discovery.
Right.
And doctrine of discovery gave these people, like the people who came from Morocco, the right to say that this was theirs. But first they would have to declare that there were no one living there, or it was paganistic people living there. So the Indians then became underneath what they would call paganistic people, which gave the Christians the right, as they say, to claim. Okay? Now, with that discovery comes names, just like Afrikaners over in Africa. So we're using names, which the man who Africa is called of, he is a Sicilian. Christopher Columbus, Sicilian, who were not people from here, but they was from Europe. Okay.
No. Okay, hold on. Let me, because I want to inject with 1 minute. Just 1 minute, so because we want you to get dialogue. They're from Europe, but our black people, being that we're so close in proximity from Africa to the Mediterranean. You don't think we're selling into those areas and having conjugal visits with these women that could create a light-skinned Christopher Columbus or a brown-skinned Christopher Columbus? Obviously, he wasn't pure Swedish or blue-eyed. So we're seeing a mixture. So we're saying that now. I'm going to ask you as a woman, wouldn't it be strange that the women of that time was giving themselves over to these men to create a new species? Because obviously that's what the indigenous sisters did. They had intercourse with these beings to create new beings. Would that be correct or not? What's in your opinion?
I would say some of that could have been voluntarily and some of that could have been rape.
Okay.
It go both ways.
No, I'm not saying it can't, but that makes sense. That makes sense. Go ahead.
But yeah, that's what happened. Somewhere along the line, the mixture comes in. But if we're going to do that, we also got to look at the Asian people that came here. They end up being absorbed into the race also. Okay. Let's do this. We're doing it now. If you look,
we're doing it now, right? I'm glad you brought. We're doing it now. Nothing's new under the helios. Nothing's new under the sun in that Bible. So what we're seeing now is just a replication of what has already happened. So we're seeing the mixture of groups today.
Yeah. When I go to Walmart, I see a mixture of Asian and black, Asian and white, going in with their kids shopping, black and European, black and Asian, going in shopping. So it's happening now. It's
happening now.
Just put it back then into the reality. So that's how it happens. It's not that everybody been raped. Some people fell in love. Okay.
Yeah, that's a beautiful concept, because I want you to say what you said. Some people fell in love with these people, and it happens today. It happens today. Now, sister, I got so many people want to get online with you. Now, I want y'all to be brief. Now, when I say brief, I'm gonna give 2 minutes. Make a comment. 2 minutes is a lot in radio time, y'all. So just don't get it twisted. Just look at radio. 2 minutes to give her a question so she can answer, or something that you want to bring to her attention that you might know about. I'm going to bring from the top to the bottom. That's 8554. That's 8554. Welcome to the Helios.
Hey, welcome, sister. I'm glad you're on today. Unfortunately, during the time you were talking, I didn't really hear anything that you said in terms of your answers for your questions. So hopefully, because I do a blog talk show also, maybe I'll be honored to have you on as a guest, or maybe Drop-Ons can bring you back. But with that being said,
I'm going to give her to everybody who needs her, and she is very much needed. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, because I'm here in Chicago right now, and a lot of black folks, you want to call them people of color, are in the economic dire straits right now. So what do you suggest? You have any answers to in terms of who to worship, or what do we do in terms of bringing people out of this economic madness, whatever, in terms of jobs? People take care of their families.
Can I answer that for you? Can I answer that for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Right now, we should not separate from our spirituality, God, the Creator. Okay? If it wasn't for Him, my people wouldn't be here, and I won't be sitting here today. We are not getting to a bickering of who's serving God under what religion. That's just different highways. Okay? The most important thing is, are we serving God, the Creator of everything? Economics. Instead of breaking up into these different fragments of movements, we need to be coming to the table on a mass discussion of how to empower our economics. Okay? And what do we have available that we can create businesses to start empowering ourselves to jobs? But with all these side tracks of these Washita movements and Moore's movement and getting something for free, we're not talking empowerment. I think we need to come together, and maybe John Bone will be willing to do it. I'm all for calling together an empowerment meeting, okay, where we can create businesses within here, where we can do trade with other countries, and vice versa.
Vice versa. There we go. Trade is now. Since the trade is good, now I'm gonna tell you, I'm dealing with what's happening right here in this country. Now, Trump, they hate Trump based on my some analogies. I know why, but I'm just gonna. They hate Trump, but Trump has now put out there in the trumpet of blacks getting over $100 million of helping urban communities. Are we jumping on the table? Are you aware of this? I mean, are the Native Americans? I mean, because I see Native Americans here. I'm amongst two Native American tribes here. I'm amongst the Seminoles and the Mississippis. Those of you in New York State, who I grew up in, we were the Iroquois. They from the Genesee Iroquois. But we've seen the Indian population in this country as growing up. And many of our relatives have said, we Indian. I've heard that in certain parts of the family. But why are we not getting a part of the money game? Because it's all economics when it comes down to the reality. Let me get some more questions out here because there's a lot of money out here for Native Americans. Let me get some more calls. 111. Well, let me get another. I'm gonna get you some more questions. Let me get you a little more questions because they hot. The lines are hot. And I want to get you as many in here before the time. 111. You on the air? That's two questions.
Honorable brother, I can't even think. I'm so honored that our lady is on the line. I miss speaking to her. I hope she'll let you give me her phone number again. I am Angel Lady Love, listener, inspired, friend, emissary, and Sky Medicine, Booyah Wonkin, melanin enriched woman of the four corners of the planet Earth. I'm wondering if you can put her on the line that she can come in more clear, because much of her discussion has been lost.
Yeah, I can't do yeah, that's not my fault. You know how it works, Lady Love. You know this show, she's on the phone and we're on Blog Talk, so it you might have to turn stuff up a little bit. But go ahead. We understand. So, thank you for listening.
Most emphatically, I have not heard her talk about, is it Algonquin? We are many nations became one, and the Declaration of Independence are our tenets. And I'm hearing too many times people disregarding that. You also have a Jewish population. I heard you asking about Queen Isabella, and you got to include Ferdinand. Remember, she got rid of the Jews not only through the Inquisition in Spain after the Moors had conquered them for over 500 years, and they claimed they ran them out of there, but nonetheless, you have to remember also that Christopher Columbus, his parents are from Spain. He was born in Italy. He hates Italian. And he...
one more, because that's a good question. That's some good questions. Go ahead.
He never stepped foot in what later became the United States of America. And he was sent back in chains. That's why I've been successful in a lot of these our various states, such as California, saying they're not going to honor Christopher Columbus anymore. I have more details than this, but I hope
you will be. I'm just trying to get, because that's a lot of questions. Let's take one of whichever that you want to deal with, sister.
Okay. Some things I didn't understand what she was saying, but one thing I would answer. We keep digging into what paperwork was filed, and when the only thing we need to look at is the Doctrine of Discovery. Okay? The Constitution and everything, the foundation of the Constitution of the United States is the Doctrine of Discovery. Okay? So that is the main thing that needs to be redone or revisited by the Pope and the Catholic Church. Okay?
Doctrine of Discovery. Okay. All right, that's a good answer. Got some more. The lines are hot, so I'm going to take as many as I can before we get to the bottom of the hour, and then we're going to keep it going with Chief Warhorse. Make your comments, please. Get your comments and questions together before we bring you on the line so we can have her answer as fast and to her best ability. 7696. That's 7696. You on the helios.
Let's drive on.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask the sister. My roots, we come from North Carolina. His brother D from up St. Louis, but I'm from the East Coast. But I wanted, like, a lot of my information from my family. I know, like they said, we started our farm in 1869. You know what I'm saying? We was able to start our farm in North Carolina, and I wanted to know, like, it's like, because they don't talk a lot about the history of North Carolina. They talk about the more politics part of it, like with the government and stuff, but they don't go into, like, the Trail of Tears and everything like that, because they started with the Virginians and everything first on the East Coast. Well, to my knowledge, anyway.
The East Coast, yeah. No, you're right. What's your take on that?
I was looking at this show. It's a show they bring out called Taboo. And the white people, they basically was fighting over some place over here in America. But the white people up in Europe, they had some wives from over here. And on the show, they talk about gunpowder. See, we didn't have gunpowder over here at first, to my knowledge.
Yeah. Okay,
and see,
hold on. That's
gunpowder.
Make it brief so she can answer. Gunpowder what?
Yeah, and the gunpowder is basically what brought on all the war. And when they broke the Straits of Gibraltar, they brought the war with the...
Okay. Oh, that's a lot. Okay. Let me answer something. That's a lot. That's some good stuff there. Gunpowder was a big thing, sister. What's your knowledge of them bringing that type of trade? Again, Eastern trade from Asia, China. China and them had the gunpowder from all the so we see that entering into America. Your people had weapons, I'm sure. What's your take on how that might have changed the game as far as war?
Okay, that's a good topic. Yes, gunpowder was a major trade prior to even the railroad coming through. Okay, and then after the railroad, gunpowder became a major explosive that was needed, which they also brought more Chinese, which we don't see the Asian people showing up that came in here in the 1800s because they have been absorbed into a lot of the Native American tribes. But along with the trade comes people, is what I want to say. And every time we go into a trade, we end up with a new ethnic group coming in. When they come in, they live amongst us. Then they begin to marry with us, okay? So you're diluting and also trading at the same time. Some of us, what you would call intermarried, okay, which that's what China do. That's why all the Chinese look like they look and all the Japanese look the way they look. It's because for thousands of years they intermarried with Chinese. But when they came over here, if you look at a lot of the tribes in the northern part of the United States, you will see that Asian look, okay? So along with trade comes the sacrifice of losing your tribe status or your tribe feature, and you adopt a new feature, okay? And then those people a lot of times either end up trading back with their countries or end up like we are today. Let me do something for example. I was looking on the internet. I see the Indians have become so white their hair is blonde, okay? There was no blonde-haired Indians they were talking about in history books, okay? So intermarrying with trading brought about this. So when we start talking about trading, we got to look at right now, people are trading in Africa. Look how many people from here have married people from Africa since we began to do business with Africa. Am I right?
Right.
So
since the beginning, since the going to Ghana through repatriation during the Lincoln days, we've been having this region over there intermingling with the Africans as well. That's why Ghana is so English in so many ways.
That's why I want us to not just look at black and white. Okay.
Right. We can't. We can't.
Because if we look at black and white, we have been overtaken more in the black communities of Indians and black people by our own people. Okay. While we're on that, let me touch on something that I've been going through. Number one, I want to clear the air on something. Cyril Never is not the ambassador of the tribe. I would say Cyril didn't.
Hold on, I can't hear you. I can't now. Now we can't hear you. Hold on. I can't even hear you now. Let me make it. Well, okay. I heard you say Aaron Neville of the Neville brothers.
Not Aaron. Cyril.
Cyril
not
Neville.
The ambassador. He is not the ambassador to Shafunta Nation Choctaw Tribe.
Okay.
He was appointed by me and never carried anything out. He was appointed to be like a promoter to the tribe. Okay.
Right.
Immediately, within less than a month of the appointment, his wife began to try to organize us. And immediately, his wife have been, her and several other people, on a crusade. They even went and got him a charter to overtake our tribe. Okay?
Wow. Oh, this is unbelievable.
This is when you're letting people in that look like you. Okay? And we have suffered for the last, right at 9 years, dealing with the issue of trying to keep up with what them and some renegades are doing. And so they have hooked up with this man named T-Mock. And this man is known for running scams. Okay? And they're going around the country. I had a chief out of Oklahoma call me. People call me Mississippi. People have called me out of Florida, where they were using my name just to say I'm Chief Warhorse's cousin. and they gain access to other people's land. Well, they
Wow.
ask them to help organize, help organize to discredit me. Yeah, okay? And so I had to go to the Catholic Church because they had a gentleman with the Catholic Church involved with this, okay? So I took all this time I told you to watch and see and gather the names of who was trying to overthrow Choctaw Tribe, Chippewa Nation. And I can tell them on this air right now, it's not going to happen, okay? Not going to happen because they playing checkers and I'm playing chess. I'll sit for 2 years before I make another move, and that's what I did. I watched so I could see what they were doing. I gained evidence of what they were doing, okay? And it was heartbreaking to see you let people that close to you, and that's what they'll try to do. So I understand firsthand.
Yeah.
I understand firsthand what could have happened to our people, okay? I was saying I understand firsthand what could have happened to our people in the past. You people come in with a loving, smiling face and with a separate agenda, okay? There's a lot that have gotten the black Indians in the predicament they're in. Now, you asked a question earlier, and I really want to answer it. What could we do and why the black Indians are not benefiting from the things that's out there? That's one of the reasons right there. Because we cannot organize into a single unit. We always want to organize into each person their own unit and a whole lot of chiefs and no Indians. Okay?
Right.
Everybody has to be the chief.
Everybody got to be chief.
Everybody has to be chief.
It seems to be the case.
To make what you're talking about happen means learning how to unite our voting power, to take some of these people out of office that's voting against us as people of color. But we have to unify ourselves to use that strength. So the white race is unified behind Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is doing whatever he can to please them. Okay? We're not unified with ourselves. We as people of color, we want a title, we want the wealth, and we want to be seen. And so when you get a lot of that bumping and clashing, there is no leadership. Okay? So we need to, even from slavery.
Now, what do you see? Because you're in politics, you know the game of politics. Louisiana, all the Gulf Coast states, which includes the west coast of Florida. Far as these different things that are going on nationally, should we be looking at what party? Because I'll ask that in regards to what you may say, the Democrats. I don't know what you see as far as them participating in. I know St. Timothy. St. Timothy is out of New York, and he was the king of the Democrats. He's Irish. Y'all parish is named after this dude. This dude. If y'all don't know what Timothy is, the power of the Timothy up there in New York, you will find out who runs.
Hall.
Yeah, Timothy Hall. That was where they all met.
Timothy Hall.
A great history. If you never want to know about the government of politics, look up Timothy Hall, and you will see the foundation of where America got a lot of its concepts from. But let's ask. We see all this. There's the Republicans, according to what we've been hearing through our part of New York, the Articles of Confederation is Native American. We hear that
right.
So how come you think black folks? Isn't it a trick to make black people hate America in your estimation? Is it a deliberate trick?
It's a huge trick. Okay? And we need to stop and talk about that. What we need to be concentrating and using our efforts for on that internet is organizing us for the next election. Okay? We need to be voting in our area. I'm not worrying about the Democrat nor the Republican. I want you to understand that. I've been a Democrat for a long time. They ain't doing nothing for us either. Okay? I'm not talking about party right now. I'm talking about a pack. Okay?
Right, a pack. Go ahead. All right, a pack.
We got to
there
stop
you go.
talking party. We got to stop talking party and talk a pack.
That's right.
Okay? A pack with an agenda. Okay? And you have to walk that agenda from your local government to a state government to a national government. Okay?
Right.
We need to be organizing a strong pack for people of color, that be it Democrat or Republican running for office. But have to sit to the table and talk with us, that can be accountable to us. I'm talking political power, okay? We don't have political power because it's diluted into the numbers of Democrats and Republicans that's out there. If you want your numbers to talk, we should put it into a PAC form. AARP.
Like most groups. Most groups got PACs. Most groups got PACs. If you look at the amount of money they spent on their by PACs. Beautiful thing. Let me get some more.
There is lobbyists, and these lobbyists go into Washington and lobby. These lobbyists go into the different states and lobby. So we can't look for something free that we ain't willing to put no money behind. We need to be creating a strong.
There you go. There you go. We put it out, but we giving money blindly. We giving money blindly without any. We're not asking no demand. We just giving our money without any demand to a blind agenda that we have no concept of what's going on. As far as but I'm sorry. Let me take some more calls, Chief.
Let's use a black president, for instance. If you ask the average black person that was gung-ho because we were going to have a black president, President Obama, and then you ask the average black leader, what did he submit to the administration of a black president, and you're not going to find too much of them submitted anything. Okay?
Yeah. They can't talk facts.
What did they lobby to the president for? Now, no president, black or white, is just going to go in there and give you certain things. That means we need lobbying. We need people lobbying for the black community and be more of a player into the economic development of our communities. We are still slaves. Most people, the white people, are building apartment buildings. Black people are renting the apartment buildings. We are not using our power. Other people are coming to this country, buying gas stations in black communities, getting rich off of black people. That's what we need to be talking about in Parliament.
Right. Immigration. The immigration, I find out that most people, and you should be, the Native Americans should be the main ones against immigration, because look what comes from the results from what we call the indigenous people. Let's take some callers on the Helios. Let me get 5192. 5192, you on there.
Hey, Empress, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Can you hear me?
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I can.
Okay. We know that it was no such thing as Europe. Before that name Africanus was given to us, were they? It was Asia and Asia Minor. Were they Alkebalans? And then one of the main persons I would like to ask about what was going on was George Washington, because he was designated the 12th Hindi. Now, at that point, was that the tradition of the turning over of the land that gave them their powers to assault the indigenous people?
Yeah, plus you got to realize the United States is a corporation. That is true. And out of this corporation, do you know the Queen of England still has her royalties that come off of this country, off of the wealth?
Right.
Because if you remember, it was given to Isabella.
Yeah, Queen Isabella.
Christopher Columbus said he was giving it to Isabella. Y'all with me? So
yeah, we with you.
There is royalties that's being paid off of this country because it's a corporation. And we have to realize all these corporations are discoveries. That's what it was, a company. Okay? But under that, you got to remember that's the 13 colonies, right? Now, after the 13 colonies, they decide to break off from Britain, correct, and become their own country. So you got two paperwork you have to look at, before the break off and then when they form the Corporation of the United States. Okay?
Yeah. That's two paperwork.
So some things I see people arguing, they're arguing before the corporation, and some things people are arguing is after the corporation. And sometimes they mix it up. Because I saw some things online. I'm like, okay, they're taking two different eras, arguing it at the same time.
Yeah, and that's what we do a lot. The parameters of the time frame.
Yep, yeah, you got to get in a time frame.
Yeah. Let me get some more calls. Sister, you got the lines heated up. Let me go 3364 A-Town, Atlanta. You on the air, 3364.
Hey, peace and blessings, my brother and my sister, ma'am. You right on the money there. You blessed, you know that? And God bless you for the information, and hopefully we can get you back on through the week. But my two questions is, all right, since you already say United States Corporation, it was a tribe called the Tribe of Shabazz. I think that's before the flood with Atlantis and all that. And also, I'm trying to find information on the Blackfoot tribe. That's what my family told me. Because the Tar Heels, we know it's black, the Indians, Tar Heels, North Carolina. But I cannot find information about the Blackfoot tribe and what you know about the Tribe of Shabazz before the flood and after the flood, about Atlantis and all that.
Okay, good question. Because that's what Dr. Himmeltep and them sisters really talking about. The land mass was already elevated for trade. Different ports to that cataclysmic Atlantis fell into the ocean. What's your take on having these tribal names prior to what we know today?
Okay.
And then
right
also,
now, a lot of the name changes that have happened over the years is not accidental; it's intentional. Because if it comes to name change, it makes the original name be lost. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, what people have to start doing is looking out of this country. There are records in Canada, there are records in London that they need to go back to start looking for records. Because every area that they went in, it was documented and sent back either to Spain or France. Okay? Are you familiar with what I'm saying?
So, go ahead. I'm listening.
So you have to go back in time to who was in that area, who supposedly conquered that area, if it's the Spanish or the British, and follow your records back to that country to see what they said was there and what was the name at that time when they came into that area. Okay?
Right. Because that could be a time of, Stop making names. Right.
Because that's what the white man did. Made a whole lot of new names. Make a whole lot of new names and lose the real names. Right now, Cyril Neville and them wife and a group of people, which I'm going to post some of this stuff and I'm going to send it to you, Javon, so you can post it. These people going around, they came up with like 20 different names, look like, in this area. There is only one Shafunka nation, one Chata tribe, and we are by blood. And we don't have all these other names. Now, in history, we've been documented under many names. But we have recognition from our parish and state saying all of these names that have been used in the past is the same people who are still here today. See, our government verified that, okay? So that's what some of the stuff people need to try to do, not make a name up, because there's criteria even for the UN. I hear people say they're going to the UN. You can't grab people from 25 states and say you're a tribe. You're wasting your time and your money, okay? The United States not going to accept it. The UN not going to accept it. So you're leaving yourself out vulnerable. Because, first of all, the tribe...
Man, you talking so good. Hold on. You talking so good, Chief. Your voice went low and go high and go low. You are saying something because these are the things that we are under siege on. You said again, I'm going to repeat what I heard last. You can't go to the UN, and many people are being told they can go to the UN. You said what again?
I say you cannot go to UN with a group of people that you are picking up from different states and towns that not live together and function as a tribe with the same culture and traditions. Okay? Right. They're wasting their time. Because, first of all, the criteria show that you are either 5 people who maintain who you were. Okay? What the biggest problem is this. And I was trying to work on that when we end up with all these so-called tribes. What do we do with the people that is really Native American, that have been divided from their heritage and culture, is what we need to be sitting down talking about as a group. Okay? But we can't get to that because we're getting all this fakeness of all these tribes with names, which is going to make them become another thing like they did with the Washington Moors. Nobody's going to want to be bothered with them.
Yeah,
nobody's going to want to let new people come around.
So let's just say this. Right. Let's just say this, that we're seeing a movement that was put in place, maybe, I'm just going to say, to pretty much defunct the reality of what it takes to be a tribe. So you have people doing this, which dilutes the whole concept, makes it weak, and no one wants to do it no more. 8341, you on the air. Quick question. We're going to take as many calls as we can. We're almost at the high noon of the Helios. 8341, go ahead.
What's up, family? Can you hear me?
I hear you. Go ahead. Hey, what's up, my brother?
Yes. Oh yeah. I'm just saying, loving the show, loving it, and again, we definitely got to have the sister back because we know it's not her fault, but her phone. Basically, I'm kind of ignoring because I'm wanting to hear it and I can't, but I'm still the little bit that I am getting, loving it. I just wanted to make a comment more than a question that she's right on point, and it's everything that I've been talking about, even dealing with the numbers, going inward first, understanding that spirit within that will guide us once we acknowledge the universe, the air, the earth, the sun, the moon, the waters, and the wind. When we go within, they start to answer us because we're on that plane of nature that we've been taken off, which is starting with knowing thyself, the spiritual essence within. So I love that at the beginning when she was talking about understanding the true spirit and not getting thrown off with this nonsense of religion and everything else that they've distracted us with. So I just wanted to comment on that, and she basically gave me a whole nother show dealing with that to give to the people this week. So I love it. So,
yeah, we're gonna bring her back. We're gonna bring her back to y'all, and hopefully Antoinette, we can get her bring you in on Wednesday, because this is one that we have to keep abreast of, because a lot of people is being deceived by a lot of things that's going on, sister. And I know you know that because you've been out there. Where did she go?
This is what we need. There are some key things we need to start asking people. When people come to us talking about like this man running around calling himself HEMOC. He's going around he's taking people paper to the UN. He's the only person that can give people recognition. The man is frauding people. Okay? So people need to post these people pictures up and let people know, you see this coming to your community? Put them out your community. Because if you haven't been raised Native American in this area, you need to talk to someone who has. Just like when I started getting calls from other areas saying that Cyril Neville White and several other people were coming in speaking as if they were this tribe, and they weren't. Okay? I do not have, and I want y'all to hear this out there, I do not put out an open membership. So if someone is telling you that you can get a Shatta open membership, that's a con, okay? Don't send these people no money, because I don't do that. And when the census time comes in 2020, my people are going to do their census here. I'm not trying to fraud the Census Bureau either. And being that you just put Native American on your census does not mean that you're Native American. I heard that movement is out there. Just write it on there. Well, what you're doing is you're taking your census money and designating it into a other pile, which then it goes somewhere else ethnically. Okay? So you're taking money away from your census block.
Away from. Okay, so that's something that we got to come back on, because you're saying so much stuff that I know on applications and stuff that people are doing this. I've been in the movements too that have told us this, and you be like, after a little while, you say, the UN ain't looking like it's for us. Let me take one more caller for the minute. I'm gonna take one more caller, and then I'm gonna play a clip because it is Black History, and I want the chief to listen to this. 80553. That's 0553. You've been holding. Thank you for holding. Appreciate that long time for holding. I got 5088 coming up after the break. Go ahead. Go ahead, sister.
Good morning, Dry Bones, and thank you so much, sister, for coming. Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know if you have another phone in your home, or is it your earpiece, but you are delivering some very powerful information, and it's fading out, and we're not hearing a complete sentence.
Why don't we do this, Dry Bones? Let me hang up and dial back in on another phone, and let's see what we get.
Yeah, do that now. And what's the last 4 digits? What's the last 4 digits so I know? He's calling it now.
Okay,
right?
The last 4 digits is 5215. I'm dial from another phone.
Okay, all right, go ahead. Okay, while she's doing that, we're going to. She just dropped. Okay, she should be calling us back. I'm gonna take her call. I'm gonna let the sister finish her. But this is a hot show. Appreciate y'all holding with us. It takes a lot to put these things together, because you see we're working with so many different things. So
Jarbo?
please, yes.
I was just going to say that it's amazing how the sister came on and really breaking down our history and telling the black people in Black History Month that this is our land and our ancestors protected our wall to have different people coming in uninvited, you know. And
right. That's a good topic. I mean, the Buffalo Soldiers, for all intent, guarded the borders. Here we got the people today who, for every reason, don't even want the borders guarded. It's such a strange thing. And also to know that this same group of blacks that was the most fierce fighters had weapons and never once turned them on the group claiming to be their enemy. That is amazing. There she go. I got it right there. Thank you, sister, for calling. There you go. Hope you sound better. Go ahead, sister. Let me make sure it's you. It's you?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I hear you. Go ahead. Keep talking.
All right.
Now, she mentioned a question. Go ahead, sister. Ask your question one more time so she can get it, and then we'll go from there. What's the question again, sister?
Okay. I was just really, I mean, it was just I guess a commented question. I was stating that it was I'm very blessed that you came on to share with us that this land is our land, and that you recognize it being your land, and you recognize being indigenous and having your sovereignty with your people as well, and sharing us that the border was protected by our people, you know, because of the fact that we didn't want anybody coming into our land. Territories has been going on in our country, in the world for years, and for the Black Americans to think that it's totally racist of Trump wanting to protect the border, and then for Black people not to recognize that the people that's coming in on the border are coming into your community, taking your jobs, getting grants to start businesses.
Okay. Can I say something?
Okay.
I'm going to tell you I disagree with that one. I'm going to tell you why I disagree. We should have had border protection when the Europeans was coming in here. There's more Europeans that came in and took our land. I'm not trying to be funny.
No, but that's true.
Europeans who did damage to us. And they didn't build a wall to keep the Europeans out. Now, the people that's coming from Mexico, a lot of those people were indigenous to this side of the land. They was driven off their land to Mexico. Okay? The Indians in Mexico and Venezuela was ran out of here from Florida, Arizona, Texas.
Right. But they're using black people to do that. That's why I put on the thing. They're using black folks to do this now. I'm looking at all the war campaigns that took place at that time. And this 10th and 9th Cavalry of black soldiers, I mean, they were relentless. So how do we explain our history? So how do we explain that when we say, okay, it's white people, but then it's a group of blacks who actually did it? How do we handle that?
Well, first of all, we got to look at the Trail of Tears. Just does not lead to Oklahoma. There was a Trail of Tears that led to Mexico. Okay.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
From
yes.
Florida, from down where you at in Miami, Florida. You remember we talked about this and did a show about this. They took the black Indians from there. A lot of them left and went all the way into Mexico. All right? That's no different than the black people from they going back to Africa to their motherland. Okay, so the people trying to come across that border is trying to get to their motherland. Somebody else is on their land that came from Europe.
But they can't get them into them countries. Now, let me ask you, because we're talking about borders. Say, for instance, that we had control over the country. That's just hypothetically. Blacks had control. You think we will be letting everybody in the country?
At this point, it's irreversible, because what we're going to do with all the Europeans that came.
But I'm saying, the Europeans, the Germans, I've done a show showing that the Germans are the number one European group in America. This is by far the fact.
Right. Okay.
But black folks somehow are used to clear huge tracts of land that we just heard.
Yeah.
How do we deal with this if we're going to say, it's like we're not dealing with our history properly. It's like, we did this happened. We're saying the white man did it, but in reality, the black man did it.
Okay, I want everybody to look at, this is what I want people to do. I want everybody to go, you can pull these statistics. Go look at how many new immigrants are sworn into the United States as citizens that do not come across that wall.
Oh, yeah.
Per month. We're worrying about a wall, and they flying in the air. They coming in on the boat.
Okay, let's take that premise, sister. They coming in. I understand. But what happens because they coming in? You just said earlier, our neighborhoods are under siege. I mean, if we can't see that, that means.
But what I'm saying is, if we're going to close the wall, listen, if we're going to close the wall, we also need to close the list for who flying in. Okay?
Well, yeah, that might be something they're thinking about. I don't know.
You know, once you close the wall, that's just stopping one ethnic group. Okay? Okay, but every day they're flying in here. Every day they're getting green cards. So they still come in. If we're going to stop citizenship,
what do we do? So what do we do? Because you are Native American.
I think we need a minimizing of the influx to the United States. I think we need a minimizing, but not on one ethnic group.
Well, I don't know what you mean by I don't know what you mean by one. Because one ethnic group, we know that Europeans, Jews, people from India.
All the people I keep hearing about,
China.
Hearing about the wall. I keep hearing the wall. That one wall does not keep all other ethnic groups out.
I'm agree with you because that wall, we understand that. That's kind of like a symbolic thing. I try to tell people sometimes you got to look between, like you said, in between lines. That wall doesn't mean the whole 2,000 miles. It's only a certain amount of miles that they claiming that they're going into. See, we're not over in California. Maybe that's because they're not maybe going into Louisiana on a hardcore level. But in that area, I'm looking at people calling me saying they're all in the streets they can't know where to go. Well, you got no people where to go. They're in your. So how do you handle that? It's like Katrina. I take Katrina and I send them all to Atlanta. Now Atlanta can't stand a lot of New Orleans because it's too many. You know, it's just how do you handle this?
That's true. That's true. That is very true. I saw that during Katrina. I saw it in Texas during Katrina. There was this influx.
It's too many people at one time.
What I'm saying is, let's not do it where it's being done in such a racial manner, is what I'm saying. Okay?
Well, I agree with you.
We're going to do.
Go ahead. We're going to do it.
If we're going to do control, we need to do it across the board because there are a lot of people coming in from other countries, and we are not focusing on that.
Too. Canada is. We got. I mean, this program we tell it all. Canada, Chinese. The Chinese are the most undercover group that comes in under the radar and take over huge parts of real estate. But we seem as a black community to take. Now I'm going to play something that because it's Black History. I'm going to get you in this. Everybody, let's begin almost to the high noon. Those of you who may lose the internet because we have no control over the airwaves. If you don't jump on now, you may get cut off exactly at 12 on the internet. So jump on, go to 515-605-9343 immediately or 626-414-3504. If you have Metro or T-Mobile, you can forget about it. It's all over. Now, let's get back to this program where we had a hot program with Chief Warhorse. Chief Warhorse, we got a history that no one talks about. I found a video clip of Native Americans, black Native Americans. I want you to hear what they're saying, and I want your feedback. 3 minutes of your feedback.
The ex-slaves were called freed men, and the freedmen of the Indians had reason to dance. No, they weren't rich, but since they were now citizens of the tribe, and the tribe owned all the land, there was no need to sharecrop. Just stake a claim, build a cabin, start a farm. And there was the black vote. Witness this Seminole election in which they counted one candidate's supporters on the left side of the street, the other candidates on the right. To gain control of the Cherokee capital in Tahlequah, chiefs like Lewis Downing campaigned heavily for the black vote, as did Chief Spaichi for control of the Creek capital in Okmulgee.
The Creeks appointed and elected blacks as judges, attorneys. They were private secretaries. They were members of the council. And, of course, the 3 black towns in the Creek Nation had representatives in both the House of Kings and House of Warriors.
Silas Jefferson was even elected one of the Creek chiefs and was among the delegation any time that the Creeks had business in Washington. Since there was none of the lynchings or terror of the white South, Indian Territory became a mecca for blacks, even though many never gained citizenship. At least 25 black towns sprang up, some still around, like Taft, Redbird, and Tallahassee, where on a warm day they still bring out the kitchen table for a game of dominoes.
I'm out of here.
What? How you get down?
I'm out of here.
Glad you did.
There were black lawmen among the Creek Nation Light Horse Police, deputy U.S. Marshals like Bass Reeves, who killed 14 outlaws without ever being wounded. And there were outlaws, killers like Cherokee Bill, part black, part Cherokee, or the Buck Rufus gang of Creeks and Creek freedmen. And there were the rowdies.
If they got enough whiskey in them while they shoot the town up.
You ever had to run from a shoot up?
I have crawled under the bed.
My great-great-uncle Willis was among those rowdies. You may recall my great-grandmother Phyllis Pettit's story of how her husband's mother was sold by his Cherokee master.
He looked down a long lane after her just as long as he could see her and cried after her.
While George Pettit turned out okay, his brother Willis spent 1877 in the National Prison for shooting up the capital of Tahlequah. 5 years later, it was more serious. In March 1882, the Cherokee Advocate reported in both English and Cherokee, murder trial in Tahlequah, the capital, the Cherokee Nation versus Willis Pettit. The transcript still exists today. It seems 2 weeks earlier, Willis was having an argument with his wife Julia when his mother-in-law, Margaret Bird, said something, so he shot her. It all happened in the home of a sick woman that the two women were visiting. Among the numerous witnesses was one Henry Bowe, who testified that the day of the murder, Willis had tried to sell him his house and his hogs for $65. He said his wife had quit him. I said to him, "That won't make you sell your place. She'll come back again." He said to me, "That's played out," and he cursed and said, "I'm going to kill Margaret." While Willis did not take the stand, he had a witness, Maria Shepard, support his defense that Margaret was trying to kill him. As I passed her along the road, testified Maria, she said she would have Willis put away in less time than 2 weeks. But the Cherokee transcripts say the prosecutor asked Maria, "What relation are you to Pettit?" "Not any." "Is Willis not in the habit of coming to your house often?" "He comes there sometimes." "How come Margaret to tell you about this?" "She did not like Willis and did not like me." "Why is it that Margaret Bird did not like Willis and you?" "I do not want to tell about that. I am not going to tell it." The Cherokee Advocate reported, the jury returned a verdict of murder, and Willis, that is his name, was sentenced to be hung until he was dead on the 5th of May next. At a hanging in those days, the public came to watch, and the condemned man was among those expected to make a speech to warn some young person against making the same mistake. The newspaper reported Willis went to the gallows laughing. As for his last words, he said he'd made a mistake. He meant to shoot his wife, Julia.
Now, I just played that just the first 5 minutes of it. Now, this comes out of a book called Black Slaves, Red Masters. And it looks like a lot of what we're hearing and seeing, the Native Americans had a good life as well during these times. Running things. They weren't like they were some impoverished group. They were pretty rich.
Yep. Yeah.
So how do we take that part of that part of, I hear you, that part of history we don't see. We don't hear about.
But that's why I say let's talk about the good, bad, and ugly with everybody. Okay?
Yeah. Especially us. We need it bad. I think our people need it more than anybody because everybody else don't seem to know it. You see, I can find it easily through libraries. That was a whole black group from Tallahassee all the way to Kansas, stating that they were, prominent. We didn't have, Native Americans. We got to portray, like you say. The movies got them like they're only in teepees. They're running industries.
My grandfather was very prominent. My grandfather them ran brick businesses, lumber business, schooner buildings, and shipping businesses. They was very prominent. They was not sitting down making no pots. and dancing around the fire only. They was actually bringing in money.
Right.
There are documentation that some of our people own the richest brickyards in this area. You know, and we just got to be realistic. See, when you feed a lot of one side, you create hatred, okay?
Right.
And when you create hatred, now that's destruction. Now, what I'm talking about, let's respect each other for the contributions we have made. Let's tell the truth about the black people, the Indian, and the white folk, okay? And let's not repeat history that brings about destruction, and let's try to do something that's going to bring us together to be constructive. That's what I'm saying. We cannot erase what happened in history, okay? We cannot erase history. But history can be the foundation for us to build a better future for the younger people.
That's right. That's right.
And that is the way I'm focusing on things. There's a lot of hurtful things in my past for my people. But I see greater things in the future if we work right. I am not trying to rise up against the United States. I want the United States to respect my people and their culture and who they are. That's what I want. I want to respect the law of the United States, but I also want to respect the law of my tribe, okay? And I want to be productive in the country, like my ancestors were productive in this country. I don't want to be a welfare recipient. I don't want allotments off of a reservation. I want to be a part of the growth of America.
And also, I'm glad you put it that way, but our tribes are actually the base of the United States.
We are the foundation of the United States. We are the foundation.
The fighting,
so
everything that we have.
The laws they're using, everything it was taken from us. Not something they brought from Europe, is what was taken from the natives. We had constructive government running in this country before any European set foot on these soils.
Exactly. All right, let's take some calls, sister. You are heating it up. The heat is hot. We after the hour of 12. Sister, you go as long as you want with us. I understand your time constraints, but we'll keep it going with you. I got more callers, please. 99 New York. We got New York. 9927. You on the air.
Hi, Sister Chief Warhorse. How are you doing? My name is Shalane Howard. I'm from Buffalo, New York region, too.
What's up, sister?
And
much love to you.
How you doing, Bones? How are you? How are you today? How are you? I'm calling in because I have a question about myself. You know, I was told that I was Blackfoot, which is, I guess it's called, I don't want to mess it up, I'm learning, it's in its natural name. And then Choctaw, and on my father's side, I would be considered Blackfoot and Choctaw, and on my mother's side, I would be considered Blackfoot and Cherokee, which I know those are not the original names. But this is what I was told. But on my birth certificate, I'm black. So how can I change my birth certificate to get my naturalism, my true self?
Well, one thing, when you say Blackfoot, okay, that's all the way up on that Canada and the top of the north and going into Canada. And you said Choctaw. That's all the way down in the southern region. Those two tribes did not mingle that much for, to be Blackfoot and Choctaw without being able to directly prove how did that come about. See, a lot of people are thinking, okay, if I find this, I can get it on my birth certificate. No, that's what we need to be figuring out. How do we correct these things? That's what we need to be talking to Washington on how to correct if a person can really prove their Indian heritage. You understand what I'm saying, Jawbone?
Right.
And before we could get to that level, we end up with all of this distraction of people creating tribes and all talking about getting stuff for free, which now have clouded the field. We need to uncloud the field, Jawbone, so that we can go and see what is the next legal step for those who really are Native American. And see, right now you got this Washington or more thing jumping in, which that means you going back to Morocco, now here. And so it done confuse and cloud the field, that you can't find the real black Indians for who just hollering now that they're Indian with a tribe. We need to really sit down, drive on, and talk of a way that we can pull people in who are really finding their papers, and we need to figure a way to go in and lobby Washington to see about what happens with an individual Indian that's recognized that's not under a tribe. And because if you recognize as an individual in the United States, that does not mean you can go organize a tribe. Those things we have to get understood.
Okay, so the individual, right, there's individuals you're saying, let me get this correct.
Yeah.
So we want to twist it. There's individuals who have taken a group and say, okay, you're such and such. without giving them a DNA tracer to a specific, location that can prove this.
Well,
so
their DNA is not going to. That's another thing. Stop paying for them DNA. If your family blood, your ancestors' blood is not in their DNA system, what are they matching you to? So all of that is another gimmick. They're making DNA.
Yeah. Who you matching me? Right. Who you matching me to? Like, you don't have no other. Because I know on paternity court with Judge what's the name, you need to swab. If a person dies who's the dad, they go swab the mama of that person to get the real closeness. So I know if they ain't swabbing nobody, who they getting this DNA testing from? That's a very good analogy there, sister. Appreciate that one.
I went and looked at a thing for Christmas. There were tons of black people who gave a gift of a DNA kit to their family members to get their DNA. Okay, all you're doing is making this European country rich. They can't tell you about your ancestors. You got to go sit down and think about what your people told you, who you are, where you from. Get in there and do your homework. There's no quick fix for this. It didn't happen overnight. You're not going to get out of it overnight.
Overnight, that's right.
Okay?
Yeah, a DNA test overnight.
And some people, paperwork may be lost totally. But it's something that we need to be looking at. What could we do for the blacks of America who know they are Americans? And the first thing not to do is to give up your citizenship. That's by the Naturalization Act. Keep your birth record. I don't care if they have Negro, black, colored, whatever is on it. That is your piece of this country under the Naturalization Act. Okay? When you give that up, now you are without a country. You can be put in prison. You can be put out of the country.
I think that's what they want black people to do, though. I think they're getting black folks mad at Trump on purpose so we could denounce our citizenship when these so-called socialists get into power of hate, and then you'll be brought up on them charges. Now, that to me is a pre-planned thought, which is very well planned out ahead of time.
When you see strange people on the internet wanting to connect with you and asking you about your land and your family history and all this, your red flag should go up. These are some people trying to fraud you one way or the other, either use you for some money or use you to get what you have. Right now, I'm saying this. Black people say they don't trust the police and they don't trust white folks. You better not trust too many blacks. Right now, what I'm going through and have been going through for the last 9 years is black people. Black people that came and said, Chief, we want to work with you. We want to help with the tribe. Next thing I know, they got a charter. I'm going to send you a copy of the charter, Dry Bone.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
That was black people did that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went out and began marketing to other areas. They had their nerve to come the other day, Saturday before last or whatever, call themselves this man named Hemok and Cyril Neville wife and them. That I looked at them with my own eyes. I went to see. I had to see this. Call themselves installing some woman over my territory, they say, from the Gulf of Mexico to Canada. Tell them come park on my property. If they gave her that, tell them come on back here and take my office. So we got black people, I think, that lost their mind.
Yeah. And now, hold on now. People don't realize she's talking about Cyril Neville of the Neville brother family, musician icons of Louisiana. And because a lot of this knowledge came out of Louisiana based on the so-called, look at Beyonce doing her Lemonade thing, and she's representing that, what you're talking about. The so-called, history of that, which is connected to Haiti in some form or fashion as well.
That's right. And they trying to overtake. A lot of them is trying to overtake our tribal history. That's identity theft. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's identity and culture theft. And that's what they are doing. Those people are not connected with us. Let me tell you, I love to listen to Cyril Neville music. I love to want to work with him. It wasn't a month that love is gone. I can't even listen to his song without thinking about what his wife, and he have allowed his wife to do. Wow. They held a meeting. I helped them do a cousin to rent a house. They telling people they got land. They don't have the land here. They rent a property of one of my cousins. Okay? And I got to pass that every day. and remind myself that mistake that I made. Okay? And my thing is this. We loved them as a people, but we didn't know them. We knew of them, well, of him. Right. But what I'm going through, I asked Cyril Neville to stop this long time ago, and he did not stop it. It grew till people start calling me from Oklahoma, Mississippi, Florida, okay? And there are other people that they got working with them. It's about maybe 10 or 20 of them. Most of them not even from here, okay? They're people who came here through them, and this is what they are doing. You know, and my thing is this. Why watch the white man when he ain't doing me nothing when I got black folks doing this? That I let in my house, I let in my office, that I call myself trusting. That make it hard for me to trust another person like that.
Right. It does it for all of us. You ain't the only one. I could go, I got a list really outrageous, but I won't even go there today. This is what happened. Because we've been taught that we are mostly looking at a color, not a character of content, of morality, of uprightness. We just looking at color. So it's because he's that color, we just gravitate to him. And because of this history, only 400 years, Chief, let's be honest. Let's be honest here. We only had this so-called slave trade that we're actually talking about for, I think it's a 400-year anniversary coming up. And 400 years ain't a long time, really.
No, it's not.
For a nation. And, you know, I've been seeing, I talk to people, and you know, we got people who got 1,000 years of slavery. Some African countries, and Arab countries, and Indian countries, and Asian countries, got, even Spain, the Moors ruled Spain for almost 700 years. That's way more than America. Now, people say they treat them good, right, but you can look at history the way it is. Sometimes I think it's orchestrated to make the people here, because I'm going to ask you some tough questions now. We got many blacks from all over now. Haiti, Jamaica, Dominican Republic. I'm here with Cuba and South Colombia, Nicaragua. Beautiful people. Beautiful people. Good-spirited and everything. But they have become a color game now in America, where they have now become the color.
That's right.
We don't understand the game. It's like we playing ourselves to the point. Now I'm gonna take some more calls. Y'all, thank y'all for hanging with us this long. Y'all are hanging tough and heavy. I see callers hanging on for over 40 minutes. Let me go to 4263. Thank you for holding. 4263.
Good morning, Brother Dry Bones, and good morning, Chief Warhorse. I just have a question. You mentioned the DNA test a few minutes ago, and I also got one of those 23andMe DNA tests, and I sent it off, and they came back. They came back with the results, saying that there was a probability that I have X amount of second cousins and third cousins, and they had the list of these people, but these people were the same people, these were people also took that same test. So as far as the comparison, what they did is they compared my DNA to those people that also signed up for that same test, which is probably thousands, if not millions. Yeah. So what do you think about that?
Right. Yeah, go ahead. That's good. That's deep there. Go ahead, sister.
So what do you think about that? And I had one brother actually reach out to me who was possibly, according to the statistics in 23andMe, reached out to me actually yesterday, and it's saying that he's probably your fifth cousin, and it literally has a chain within the app that shows you that showed me that my great grandfather or grandmother probably was related to his great grandmother or grandfather, and that's how we're related.
So we asked, what ethnic group are we talking about? Because you're saying, is this what group are they saying you're with?
And that's a good question too, because I thought, to be honest with you, from my parents and my grandparents, and my grandmother looked like an Indian. She looked like let's say stereotypical Indian. What I believe Indians look like: the high cheekbones, the long straight gray hair, which she had because she was an older lady, of course. And then my great grandmother, her name was Mala, and my understanding was that she was a full blood Cherokee, which another caller illuminated that wasn't the correct name anyway. And then my great grandfather was supposed to be 100% Blackfoot. So, but when I did this DNA test, it tells me that I'm primarily Nigerian. It's 26% Nigerian. It breaks down.
They're waiting for you over there. Better get ready. You better get ready. They're waiting for you over there.
This is what I'm telling you. The DNA test. The DNA test, they sending all the black people to some points of the African continent. Okay?
They get them, they get them out of here. Hey, that's a good thing. Hey, think about it. That's good thinking. I mean, these are geniuses. I'll tell everybody to get the hell out of here. I'll reduce the population because I'll set up a few tropical paradises over in Ghana and get. Now, here's where I'm at, Chief, because that's a good question. Now, you got all kind of groups here now. You got Jamaican. You got a lot of people speak English here from different countries. The Haitians speak French. How are we supposed to, take that? You in Louisiana, you see this. You explain to me how we supposed to do this when we got some people in these communities that are actually like they were Native Americans. They talk about the Carib people, and they got the same concept basically. But yet it seems like it's a European control mechanism somewhere in there that no matter what, we're going to these DNA banks that are controlled by a major. I bet if we look up the DNA people's stockholders, let's look up them, everybody. I guarantee you we'll see something very strange there with the DNA stockholders. Very strange. Guarantee it.
Look, if you listen, we're gonna go back to anywhere we have war or wherever we done stole plumage from. If it's found, it's supposed to be returned. Correct?
On the one time frame, yeah. According to the year of Jubilee, I don't know if that's universal belief that a year of Jubilee gets returned. Go ahead.
It's returned, right? And boy, the black community is playing into the year of return. Okay. All right. Year of return. Once you lose your citizenship going out of here, you cannot. They cannot legally. They cannot legally put you out of this country, but they can convince you to leave this country, and you won't return. Okay? Don't give up your naturalization citizenship. That's like, the old people used to say, don't turn the bird or loosen your hand for one on the limb. I see people are denouncing they birthright and don't have nothing. You got to realize when you start denouncing your birthright, there go you can't have any land. You can't have your Social Security that you done worked for. If you're on disability, Social Security, because a lot of these people are poor that's doing that, thinking they're going to get rich, you're going to lose your check and your health care if you're poor. And, we got to look at the whole thing that ain't nobody talking about. What do you lose when you denounce your citizenship?
Yeah, what do you lose? Not what you're going to gain, because they don't give you no real gain. I've heard a lot of it. I used to have people come to Miami, and I've lost friends over this. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. I ain't got to lie to nobody. I told them I don't trust how they sounded, man. Well, I'm going to give this dude all this money for, and he ain't got no army to back me. They tell you like you got an army to fight off the government that's going to come after your ass. And you don't have one, people.
And then they're talking about decolonizing. That's what Cyril White was started coming talk to me about.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you decolonize, where's your money gonna come from? Where's, like you say, where's your army? Where's your government? How can they talk about the individual sovereign nations, each person? That sounds stupid. And people out there might think I'm crazy, but just look at it. You're an individual sovereign state. So if you broke, you got an individual sovereign broke state.
That's right. You broke. Ain't no aid coming to you. See, that's what they don't understand, the art of charity in the high orders. Every universal group has an art of charity. See, it's good and evil on earth, Sister Warhorse. I'm sure you would agree to that because your name wouldn't be. See, Warhorse don't mean just you create war, but you are the ambassador of what should be mutually considered war. And right now, you declaring.
There you go.
Right, you declaring that right now we are at war mentally for sure, spiritually for no doubt about it. Spiritually is, and I tell people now, spiritually is a different thing because see, when we do spiritually, and you correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like spiritually sometimes makes us only say me because of the concept of know thyself. So if I say only me, know thyself only, sometimes it seems like it's being used to cut me off from others to only worry about me. And as long as I'm doing good, screw the rest.
That's right.
Could be,
and that's not the way she is.
That could be construed as that. Could that be construed? Because we say me.
I actually feel, even though I'm chief of this tribe and queen of this nation, I still feel spiritually obligated to everybody. Okay? How can I help my people and not help everybody? All right? That's selfish. But we have to help people who want help. Now, we do need to organize.
Right.
You know,
want help.
We do need to retreat, regroup, and return, but not in a radical form, in the same laws that's put in place. If we see something that is not protecting us and laws that's not in place in great numbers through a pack, we can be an impact. Okay? I have some ideas. Darbone, I asked you to give me that 2 years off the radio, and I hadn't done my show or no.
Right, and I call let the people know I've called you. I always made transmissions to
and I promised you.
And yes, you
I promise you that you will be the first show that I do when I come out of my prayer time. And I've been praying and watching for 2 years, and this is the first show I've done in 2 years, okay? And I promised you that. And every now and then we'll talk, and I'll say, look, I'm coming out. I'll let you figure, when is she coming out? She keeps saying she's coming out.
And I will tell you, I encourage you because I know this topic is the number one topic for 2020. Because what happens is you mentioned the word PAC, APAC. If you notice, I hate to say this, but these are the money groups you're going to hear about. Always the Jewish money, which y'all get scared of, but that's a smart, ingenious plan. A PAC. We pack our money together, and whoever does what we say gets it. How hard is that for black people? How hard is that for black people to understand? I mean, really.
So if the listeners out there is wanting to put together a pack, they need to contact me or you. Listen, contact me or you. Don't go run to nobody and create your own pack because you're going to start another whole trend like they're doing out there now.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a pack dealing with what we're talking about. We got a radio show that's talking about what the issues is, and that's what you build your pack around, things that's dealing with our issues. Okay?
That's right.
So don't let somebody come and say, well, we are now organizing a pack. And we're going to end up with 20 million packs. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about.
Right. It's only one pack for APAC. It's only one pack for APAC. See, they don't play that because we do. We play that. We want to have so many, like you said earlier, so many chiefs. It's a pack. A pack of wolves. See, the wolves is another Native American animal that has high attributes, just like the buffalo and so forth. And we need to learn these attributes that we used to have in the ancient days of our ancestors to understand that, we live in amongst wolves.
And what I'm willing to do,
we won't be Little Red Riding Hood. We won't be Little Red Riding Hood.
We need to sit together, Jawbone, and come up with the people issues that's at hand. Not no 20 million things.
Yeah.
Things that we can see immediately and things we can work on long term.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
And we need to compile it to a pack. Then we get in there and start lobbying the issues and the stuff that we're doing. Not running up there sending all these birth certificate papers and all this stuff to Washington and running to the UN with nothing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about do constructive business in a constructive way. There is a procedure to handle business in the United States, and we need to learn to work within the jurisdiction of the procedure. Okay?
Right. And these are you heard earlier. But hold on, sister, let's make it clear. These are jurisdictions from the conception of America that was administrated by black people. You just heard it yourself. The America was they were sheriffs. They were the ones that you see on Gunsmoke. Take the picture that you see on Gunsmoke, make them to look like your family, and you will really get the meaning of Gunsmoke. Because they had white families. Let's be honest with them today, sister. They had white families because they made a decree somehow that Catholic Church, we're going to talk deep today, the Catholic Church was able to do that, our discovery, but they was able to do it with Arabs. Remember, she said black folks came over here. Black folks came over here who was of Islamic belief systems. And George Washington had a black nobility that hung with him. And that's why I say we need to find out, first and foremost, what Native Americans got land that has been messed with, first of all, that can be brought back to profitability. And we won't talk it over the air. You know, that's a private matter. Right. What land that we have is still of profitability. And one day we're going to talk about that off air. We can't do that on the air. But we're going to do it on real time, and we're going to keep it going. I got more calls. Do you want to stay with us, sister? Because I got to go to another segment. But if you want to stay with me, I am willing. And give them your information, sister. This is not the last time you'll be on the show, and we hope to have you on now that you
I just want to say something on closing. Can you all out there that hear me, all of those that can hear me clearly, do not let anyone tell you that we have a Bayou Lacombe tribe. There's a false organization chartered going around trying to duplicate and pretend they're us. That is not us, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That is a fraud. That is an organization chartered in 2007, okay? Not a tribe. So I know they done maneuvered around and they're on the internet. I know HEMOC have opened up for memberships. HEMOC is not from here. I don't even know who that man is. But if you read about him, he have ran land scams in a lot of places, okay? Do not give information about your family tree or your property to anybody, okay? If you're sitting down with a government agency, sitting in a government office, then you can discuss your business. But in backroom meetings with people you don't know, please stop doing that and stop posting your stuff on the internet.
Because they are, see, the internet already leading them to you. That's what they don't get. Yeah. I mean, it's just common sense. It's hooked up to a master computer. But, Chief, me and you are not finished. We got a lot of business to do. I want to sit down off camera, off air, and we got to hook up and really make it happen. You have a lot of information you want to give out to the people of how to contact you. Please tell them so now, and let's make that pack happen. Because I already told them 2020 is what I consider the eye opener. We're gonna see, and to me, the Black Caucus is like the talented 10th. I'm gonna get into that after we finish with this segment. The talented 10th, y'all. The 10th Cavalry. The talented 10th, y'all. The 10th Cavalry. See how that all works together? But go ahead, sister, finish up, and so we can get the people to understand how they can reach you.
If anybody want to contact me, they can reach me at chiefwarhorse@gmail.com. chiefwarhorse@gmail.com.
There you go. That's all you need. That's it. All right. That's all you need to go. Chief War. And then when you go to Chief Warhorse, if you go to Google, let me let you know this. How you know? Go to a lot of people Google that, and you'll see dry bones as they show. You'll see dry bones for all of them. Ilazzi Dantor, you'll see dry bones. Chief Warhorse on Google, you'll see dry bones.
Okay, yeah. And look, it was wonderful spending this here time with you all. Black History Month. Yes. Black History Month is every month. Black History Day is every day that you black. Remember that.
I love it. And remember that we love you on this program, and we're going to welcome you back
and
always.
I love y'all too.
Thank you, sister.
Anytime
Appreciate
you want me.
That's right.
All right, thank you.